Hello there, Comic Pros and Comic Joes. I am Brett the Comic Novice. Welcome to my channel. This is my review of Future State Week 7, original released February 17th, 2021. And my word, we are almost done. We are almost done with this Future State. I was enjoying the first couple of weeks or so. This went on too long. This is my first, I am new into comics. I've been reading comics for about 20 months now. And this is the first time I've ever had one of the big two or whatever basically kind of take a month off of their original releases and do a special side money grab release, whatever you'd like to call it. And it started off good. And it is just now wearing on me. I'm not liking this. I have so many concerns going forward where my poll list has now shrunken because I'm now going to kind of wait out either some of these releases to come out on the DC Universe Infinite app, or I am going to be waiting for a YouTuber, not myself, to review some of these things because they're costly. These comics are costly, and some of them pre-Future State have not been good. And now I just have massive concerns, especially because of the whole timeline that things were given to us in the free comic. This thing right here. We have so many stories that are set in 2025, and then we go a couple of years further in 2027, which I believe was it Teen Titans? And then the next one is 2029, which is the bummer of a story with Shazam. And oh my word. Oh, well, so I'm looking forward to business as usual and hoping businesses as usual, even though I know things have changed continuity-wise because of the events. I feel as though I'm now reading the very introduction to some of these Future State books. Anyway, Shazam for this week. So in this video, I'm going to go over the next Batman in alphabetical order. The next Batman, issue number 4. Then I have Nightwing, issue number 2. Shazam, issue number 2. And ending with Superman, Worlds of War. And I did not think I would be picking up that one, but I only had 3 comics, and I was just like, do I do another one that's $7.99? And that's where that's why I'm going to get ready to purge a lot of my stuff from my poll list, is because I bought Superman Worlds of War. We'll talk about that when I review the comic. So sit tight and relax. I can't wait to talk about and show you some of this great art, some of these great storylines, and some of these not so great storylines. All right. So first on the docket, the next Batman, issue number 4. We are done with the next Batman. In the story, we continue on from where we last left off, where we had the couple that politely murdered the man who possibly murdered their daughter, strangling the person who saved them, which is the next Batman. His wife basically kind of more or less talked him out of it. Amazing art. Again, I am just amazed at how many people are just complaining about that Nick Darrington just did the breakdowns, and that Laura Braga did the actual art. I almost find this art just almost better than the actual initial Nick Darrington art. So the next Batman decides that he is going to turn them in. They'd agree to do it because the Peacekeepers are probably going to kill them anyway because of their association with crime. Even though they are not wearing masks, they are still villains. So they are on a hot pursuit. And the husband of the wife basically says that it is his fault. It is his idea. His wife just went along with it because, of course, she loves their child. And he basically blows himself up as a means. And I am amazed. This is one of the things that kind of amazes me about the next Batman, because I think Bruce Wayne Batman would not allow this to happen. Bruce Wayne would try to figure out something else that happened, or to prevent this death from occurring. And I feel that Jace Fox is obviously a different Batman. We have a situation that probably is going to tell us, where his story, where he came from, where Jace, why he's no longer being called Tim, I believe. Yeah, Tim Fox, and why he's now going by the name of Jace. It looks like that perhaps he maybe had some involuntary manslaughter thing possibly in his past. Batman brings him off to Montoya. Montoya basically says, hey, is that bulletproof? I need to make it look like, I gave it all my all. Shoots him. And then we have, and I'm curious about what's going to happen, but I'm also not curious what's going to happen, because even though it is the end, we have lots of Fox family drama, because one of the things that happened that I just kind of skimmed over is that Jace Fox's mom happened to be in the area when she saw Batman, and Batman had to use a batarang to either get her out of safety or prevent his mom from shooting him. And so she's in the hospital. She dislikes Batman for what had happened. And so there is going to be a very interesting Fox family dynamic there. The next story, Batgirls, I started reading it, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to skim this to find out what happened. And they get, obviously they take out what's her face, I can't even think of the name, Oracle, and free her, which is nice, because at least the end part, when I skimmed it, I saw this, and it seems as though the love story that probably was happening in not the Joker War, in Death Metal between Barbara Gordon and Dick Grayson. It seems like this is, continued on in the future. So there is still a continual love story there. And it also kind of sets certain things up for what happens in Nightwing a little bit later. We have this story, which I didn't even want to read because it just didn't interest me whatsoever. So I spent $7.99 on the next Batman issue number 4. I skimmed the Batgirls, and I barely even. To say that I skimmed through the Gotham City Sirens is being polite to Gotham City Sirens. Next, Nightwing, issue number 2, and I will tell you, I think this is the best future state for this week. I will say this week, or we pick back up where Nightwing and the next Batman are surrounded in Arkham Asylum, and basically Dick Grayson is going to kind of, I'm not sure if it's an all-out suicide mission, but the interesting thing is the magistrate is getting ready to go in and get rid of both the Nightwing and the next Batman. Nightwing was shot in the previous issue by a bullet that had a tracking element into it, and that's why the magistrate was able to find them. And so Nightwing is going to create a distraction, which could possibly, I read into, it could possibly, kind of a suicide thing, but because he says the city needs a Batman. It doesn't matter, what, but city needs Batman. And then the next Batman, said, basically stopped them and said, well, kind of like patted him on the back as a great leader, saying, well, they need you too. The art is fantastic in this issue. And this is such a fun story, because not only is Peacekeepers corrupt, not only is a magistrate corrupt, but this news agency is going to be recording all of this. However, it is going to be claimed to have been filmed as live, because they wanted to make sure everything turned out the way that they wanted it to turn out. And obviously it does not. Everything goes awry. And with that, we have, and like I made reference earlier with the next Batman, we have all of these people that showed up to get Dick Grayson's back because he is a leader. So we have Tim Drake as Robin, we have Batwoman, we have Bat, we have Two-Face. That's kind of an interesting twist right there. Oracle, which is in an interesting, different attire. Talia al Ghul, Batgirl, and Huntress. So it's kind of a really interesting Bat team right there, which this goes back to that whole Future State Gotham series that's going to be coming out. I hate that this pulled me into that even further. Anyway, great story. I can't speak highly enough of this. Unlike some of the other stories, Nightwing has this showdown between this peacekeeper. He knows her name, and he basically kind of tells her, it's okay, regarding your past. You don't have to do all this stuff or whatever. And it is a great beatdown that they both have. It's a fantastic story. I loved it. It was great. I highly recommend this. For this week, this is the best Future State book for the week. And now we get to Shazam. And Shazam, we picked off. So again, going back, before I even start Shazam, if we go back to where this all started, this storyline to Shazam actually started in the Flash book. Then the Flash book gave us Teen Titans. Teen Titans told us a little bit what's going on. Then we have to go back to issue number 1 of Shazam to find out why Billy is being tied to the Rock of Eternity and why Shazam is murdering people. So we find out that Shazam is actually not part of Billy, and perhaps that is, and I really, again, art is fantastic in here. I really appreciate the connection to how, even though Shazam is a all-powerful being, he needs to be grounded in somebody as innocent and as humble as a person like Billy. At the end of Teen Titans 2, Raven had all of, famine, war, whatever, pestilence, all taken, I think, within her. Billy was the one that was tied to the Rock of Eternity because that's, with the purity of Billy, it was not able to get out. And then when Billy basically called upon the name of Shazam, Billy is now, I guess, that old because, they forced Shazam to do it. Billy kind of popped over here. I'm not sure if, whatever happened to him, but it was all this person, again, not familiar with him, being a novice, but it's all his plan to get the pestilence and stuff like that out, which was Raven. And it says the unkindness returns in Future State Black Adam. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to read that one because I tried the Black Adam, and supposedly you're supposed to have some really good information or knowledge about DC 1 million or something like that. And I do not, and so I skipped that one. Hopefully the last $7.99 book I will buy for some time, Superman Worlds of War, featuring, the main story. When we last left off, we had these two. This girl comes to Smallville because Smallville is now a mecca to where people go to, and we find out, and I will tell you, for as much as I did not like the first one because it was just weird and boring and drawn out, and then, of course, all the 3 different, side stories or whatever they're called, backup stories. There we go. There, thank you, brain. It was not worth it. I didn't like the backup stories in the first one. This story right here is amazing. It is all about how Clark Kent was writing an article about a black man who died, and you wouldn't think anything of it. And as you're reading this article about this man who had a club foot and decided that he was going to, fight in the war, even though he had a disability that gave him a waiver, he did it. He came back. He was shunned by society. It is a beautiful story while you're watching Superman fight all of these things on War World. It is I can't do the story justice. This story right here is probably almost worthwhile. We come back, we have Mongol tied up Superman, and he basically is just like, I am going to break you. I am going to turn you against the people of Earth that you love, because you are not going to know. They're going to forget about you. You're going to forget about them, and you are going to come back, and you are going to kill them all. And you finally realize that the entire time Superman was fighting, he wasn't fighting
to hurt because Mongol basically destroyed everybody once the fighting got done. Superman was trying to fight to break the chains. And that was the whole story. It's a beautiful story. This is good. Now the question is this story worth $7.99? Because I cannot get into this Mr. Miracle story. I just don't like the art. I'm not sure if it's any good. Midnighter, I tried to read and I couldn't get into it. And then, wait. There's a fourth story? Future State Black... Wait, there's a fourth story? Clark Kent, Midnighter, Black... Oh, there is a fourth story. I wonder if the first one has fourth story. So there's 4 stories in this one. I only read one of them. The one was a great story. Oh, what do I do? Oh, it's a good thing I'm not married, right? All right. Final thoughts on this week in Future State and some other thoughts on Future State. Yeah.
So that is the week that was, week 7 of Future State. We are so close to the post-Future State now. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, Superman World of War. I had no idea that there was 4 stories tied to it. I'm going to have to look back at issue number 1. I'm not sure if there's 4 stories tied to that one too. Because at least issue number 1, when I did the back in January, I found issue number 1 of Superman Worlds of War just blah altogether. The main Superman story, and then of course the Mr. Miracle story, which I've not been following along because I've not enjoyed it. I was going to say Knight Rider. What is it? The Black Racer. Never really got into reading that one at all. And then you have a Midnighter story or whatever. I just, no. Let's be done with this. I'm concerned. So here's my post-Future State concerns, because we are just a 1 week away from post-Future State, and I cannot believe how grateful I am. Again, Magistrate, fine. Nightwing story, great. Robin Eternal, from previous weeks. The next Batman, okay. I mean, it was okay. It was good at some points, okay at best, but you know what? Do I really want to go into some of these things? That's the whole thing. And then the price of these things are like, I'm now going to be doing the Heisman on some of these titles just purely because of price, purely because of what I experienced with this book right here. This book, I enjoyed the Superman Worlds at War story, the second one, not the first one, but the second one. I enjoyed it. It was great. I love the story. I love the storyline. I love the article. I love this unknown person who died, who was persecuted, who, rose. And while we're watching this great art, of what Superman is basically trying to do, I am enjoying it. I'm looking forward to the House of L, which is coming out next week also. But, $7.99 for 21 pages probably. I know it's probably 32 pages, 21 pages probably of a story. And then you have, what was that, 64 pages minus 21 would be 43 pages of absolute garbage. I paid $7.99 for either 21 pages of goodness or 43 pages of blah. And that's where I am really pausing on my excitement for stuff. So that's my concern for, going forward for post-Future State. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, like, subscribe. What are your thoughts? Was I too unfair to not only Superman Worlds of War, but the next Batman? Again, the next Batman story was just ended okay. But the rest of the stories, I just was not into the Batgirls at all. And it was $7.99 again. Nightwing was the best story of the week, which gives me hope again. That's why I like the Magistrate thing. It gives me hope for what they could do with the Magistrate for the future, as long as they don't do 4 and 5 years worth of Magistrate stories. So please like, subscribe, comment down below what your thoughts are. If you don't agree with me, don't just give me a thumbs down. Give me your reason why. I'd love to hear why. Thank you for watching this video. Until next new comic book day. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Please, nice things. I'm very novice into this whole thing. If there's something that I get wrong, please let me know. Thumbs down doesn't let me know. Thumbs down, just give me a thumbs down. So thank you for watching, and until next time, please join me.